Why do you think that horror has been such a success?
Well, it's been a success for years. I mean, remember the old Boris Karloffs, you remember all the, you know, the old horror films. They were a tremendous success about 25 years ago. And I think it's a cycle. I think we make them better than they were made before. I think we make them a little more believable than before. And of course, the proof of the pudding is that I don't think there's a country in the world that doesn't play hammer horror pictures.
Mm. Is there any deeper significance intended in your films?
No. I don't think there's any deeper significance, no. No, we just take... in fact, we haven't been really very clever or inventive about anything, because we must admit all we've done is taken what was a success 25 years ago, like a Drácula, and remake it, a Frankenstein, and remake it. In fact, we've taken all what they call the horror classics, remade them, Phantom of the Opera, and all those, made them a little bit better, as I say. We've got a completely new audience. And of course, every few years, we get another new audience for these things. And the tastes of the teenager today seems to be exactly the same as it was 25 years ago.
Is there any deeper significance intended in the films that you make?
Well, we've read things like that, and of course, being successful in a certain field, you have a lot of people investigating these things. We don't certainly think they do any harm to anybody. I think even, you know, when we submit our scripts to the censor, I believe he would tell you, if you asked him, that he has less trouble with our scripts than any. There's no violence in our pictures, there's no sex in our pictures. I think they're just escapism.
Mm. Do you use any special methods of production in producing your pictures?
Well, I think the boys, headed by Tony Hines, who's my partner and who's head of our studio, I think that when they're making subjects like this, they have to be ultra careful not to get too many unintentional laughs in the thing. I think they play them so straight, and that's why they're so careful in the casting. I think if you've seen any of our pictures, the quality is awfully good, the casting is good, they play it absolutely dead seriously. But you can't help it. Every now and again, you know, somebody has just taken out a heart or something, you know, up in the laboratory, and he comes down and says to his wife, "Pass the marmalade." And of course he gets an absolute burst of laughter, and all over the world, though.
Hmm. Do you find that any particular forms of horror are more popular than others?
The classic horrors. If you know, the classics, the Draculas, the Frankensteins, the mummies, the Phantoms of the Opera, all those Hound of the Baskervilles, that type. Well, I'm an optimist. I always have been an optimist. I've been in the business all my life. You know, the industry's had its ups and downs, but I think it's bright. I really do. I think obviously it's smaller than it was. I think we've got some very talented people in the British film industry. I mean, when you see films like Tom Jones sweeping the world and doing tremendous business, when pictures like Dr. No and From Russia with Love are made in England, a combination of British and American, I think it's very bright. Again, you know, our sort of pictures aren't the answer to the film industry at all, to a problem, but we fit in very nicely when there isn't a Bridge on the River Kwai, or when there isn't a Lawrence of Arabia. You can't have those every week because nobody can afford to make them for every week. But when those are not around, then we come along with a picture or two, and I would say that if I had to start all over again, and we started this doing 15 or 16 years ago, I'd do exactly the same thing.